Motivation is a spark. Power is a furnace you feed on schedule. Watch 3 Rooms. In the office, the charming hire arrives late, wings the presentation, and sells vapor with a smile. You arrive before the lights, rehearse twice, and leave with the contract. At the gym, the loudest lifter posts once a week. You move iron at sunrise, quietly, and your numbers climb because the clock is your coach. At home, inspiration promises a novel. Routine produces a page, then 10, then a draft. Charisma gets applause. Calendars get outcomes. Talent is weather. Routine is climate. Weather excites. Climate decides. You cannot command your moods, but you can command your morning. A fixed wake time kills excuses. A first deep work block before the world can find you makes you costly to reach and impossible to ignore. When your day is a corridor of locked doors that open on time, interference dies outside the gate. This is not romance. This is rule. A ruler without schedule rules nobody. Courts were built on audience times. Petitions at the 2nd hour, councils at the 4th, ceremonies at dusk. The hour created awe because the hour created distance. Companies mimic courts, stand-ups, sprints, reviews. The leader who arrives predictably and ends meetings on the bell bends culture without a speech. The one who improvises becomes a hostage to interruptions. Gates are not rude. Gates are architecture. Gates tell the crowd where to stand and your mind where to sit on the throne. Your day needs gates. A dawn gate. Light, water, breath, and the first deliberate task before any demand can name you. A work gate. 2 unbroken hours for the task that moves your position in the world. A body gate. Training that hardens nerves and clarifies thought. A night gate. A shutdown ritual that protects sleep like a crown. These gates are not preferences, they are law. Law is not loud. Law is certain. Routine is governance of the self. Governance means budgets and borders. Budget your attention like coin. Spend it where returns compound creation over chatter, strategy over trivia, writing the brief over checking if anyone replied to it. Border your energy with windows. Respond to messages twice, not constantly. Stack meetings together so they burn 1 block instead of your entire map. Schedule idleness on purpose so rest becomes recovery, not collapse. You fear that routine will shrink you. The opposite is true. Routine removes negotiation, and negotiation is where energy goes to die. When every hour is a debate, you lose to the loudest voice in the room or the loudest voice inside your head. When hours are assigned, the voices go quiet, and work proceeds like a river inside carved stone. Predictability does not kill freedom. Predictability purchases it. Make your presence costly. Arrive as planned, not summoned. Let people learn your windows and meet you inside them. You will seem colder at first, and clearer forever. Reputation calcifies around cadence. Investors trust predictable ships. Partners trust predictable men. The rhythm becomes your seal. He answers at these times. He delivers on these days. He says no when the gate is closed. The world stops pushing and starts aligning. If your mood resists, do not bargain. Reduce the scope and keep the ritual. 1 page instead of 5, 20 minutes instead of 60. The law survived, and survival is momentum. If life explodes, preserve 1 gate, any gate, and rebuild tomorrow. Mercy belongs in your tone, not in your schedule. A kind voice can enforce a hard line. Begin tonight. Name your 4 gates. Write the times. Choose 1 task for the morning block that would embarrass you to skip. Lay out the objects that will make the choice automatic. Shoes by the door, file on the desk, phone in another room. When dawn arrives, you do not decide, you execute. Decision is a luxury for the unappointed. You are appointing yourself. Motivation burns out, routine burns through. Build the gates, then let the gates build you. Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. You've been told that flexibility is freedom. In practice, it becomes camouflage for delay. "I'll do it later" sounds kind, modern, humane. It is the anthem of the ungoverned. Power respects schedules. Appetite respects moods. Fasten your crown to time, not to feelings. Flexibility without limits is decay. Soft mornings slide into reactive nights because the day has no spine. You wake up scrolling, call it easing in, and discover noon arriving like a thief. The gym moves after emails. Reading moves after dinner. Skill moves after energy returns, which is to say, never. This is how listening to your body becomes hiding from your duty. The body whispers comfort. The mission demands cadence. A repeatable day, same wake, same blocks, same start lines, compounds skill and drains excuse. Routine is not prison, it is scaffolding. Contrast two lives. In the first, you float. You answer as pings arrive, eat when hunger shouts, create when the mood permits. You feel busy, yet tasks bleed into each other and nothing spikes. In the second, you rule. Wake at 6, deep work at 6:15, lift at 8:30, messages at 9:15, strategy at 2. The frame is unforgiving and therefore merciful. Decision fatigue dies. Identity stabilizes. You become the kind of person who does it when the clock says, not when the feeling nods. Use a timer like a gavel. You're not punishing yourself. You're convening the court. When the bell rings, the matter proceeds. 10 minutes of friction mean nothing to a clock with no empathy and no grudge. That is why time is the cleanest governor. You can negotiate with guilt. You cannot negotiate with 6. Put hard edges around non-negotiables. Sleep, training, study, outbound creation. Guard the edges with alarms and doors. Your calendar should feel like a fortress gates, posted hours, predictable patrols. Affection that disrupts your frame is appetite, not love. Partners, friends, clients, anyone who demand unscheduled access are not loving you. They are consuming your sovereignty. The refrain sounds sweet. If you cared, you'd pick up now. Translation: make my preference your policy. Real care honors your posted hours because it wants you strong. Appetite asks you to weaken your walls because it wants you soft. If someone loves you, they will protect the routine that builds you. If they want you always available, they want your throne unmanned. Audit the real. You're mid-set and the phone rings. The impulse to answer just to show I'm attentive is how you train people to interrupt you. A teammate labels every request urgent. You abandon deep work to water their fire drill. Institute rules. Emergencies are rare. Label misuse has a cost. Office hours exist. In romance, spontaneous drop-ins become the quiet. Demolition of discipline. You set a visiting window. You keep it. A sovereign who cannot close the gate does not own the city. Now the popular poison, multitasking. Scattered effort looks industrious. It sounds like shoes in a hallway, but it yields no power. Force concentrates through a narrow gate. Your attention is that gate. Open it for 5 things, and you have missed. Close it for 1, and you have a stream that cuts stone. You do not need longer days. You need tighter gates. 1 project, 1 metric, 1 outcome per block. If a task can't survive the gate, it was camouflage for avoidance. Busy is the costume of the undisciplined. They speak of plates spinning, bandwidth, and crazy season. You speak of starts and finishes. The fox knows paths, the lion clears one. Marry both. Be cunning enough to plan a single lane and fierce enough to defend it from every side quest. You will feel less impressive in conversation because you did fewer kinds of things. You will feel more Powerful in life because you finished the right thing at the right time. Schedule is strategy. Strategy is moral because it protects what is highest from what is loudest. The world rewards the loud and punishes the quiet. Unless you appoint a guard, your guard is the clock. Put your phone in exile during deep work. Put people on rhythms, weekly calls, not constant thread. Defined feedback windows, not drip torture. Batch communication, not endless taps. Announce your pattern once, enforce it always. Those who respect it are allies of your crown. Those who don't are raiders of it. The objection is predictable, but life happens. Yes, and rulers plan for weather. Build buffers like moats. Keep flex only in designated zones. The final 30 minutes of a block, the open hour on Friday, the contingency pocket each day. Flex exists to absorb shock, not to excuse drift. When crisis strikes, the frame adapts. It does not evaporate. A bridge sways and holds because it was built to flex at the edges while the pillars stand. Run the modern test. You promise a video script. Without time, the day negotiates it away with micro pleasures, reels, errands, noble chores. Instead, set 6:15-8 for draft 1. No phone, door shut, timer running, coffee cooling like a metronome. You finish a messy draft before the world can ask you to carry it. Later, you revise from 2 to 3. The result is not a miracle, it is mechanics. Quality grows from quantity finished within fences. You fear a rigid day will make you boring. It will make you lethal. The spontaneous life is exciting for spectators and expensive for owners. The disciplined life is quiet to watch and extraordinary to live. Freedom is not the absence of constraints. It is the choice of the right constraints. Choose the gate, choose the hours, pay the small cost now so you do not pay the large cost later. Write your law. Wake, work, train, serve, rest posted. Repeatable, dull to explain, beautiful to remember. Guard it with prices, not pleas. People will protest. Feelings will pout. Let both. You are not hostile. You are sovereign. And a sovereign does not ask the wind for permission to stand. Rule the clock or lose the crown. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. Your days are not empty. They are occupied by an invisible government. Old wounds file the paperwork. Fear signs the orders. Without announcing itself, it schedules you. Reply now. Scroll a little. Delay the hard start. Soothe the ache. By noon you have performed a routine you never wrote. By night you call it a busy day, though nothing vital was defended. Today you drag the secret cabinet into daylight and replace superstition with policy. Begin with the covert schedule of fear. The calendar looks blank, but your nervous system runs a timetable. Instant replies are the first whistle. You don't answer because the message deserves you. You answer because silence feels like an abandonment approaching. The hidden belief says, if I am not available, I will lose them. So your thumb becomes a guard on permanent night shift, patrolling every vibration. You doom scroll between tasks, not for news, but for anesthesia, the feed dripping stories until your edges blur. Late starts are not laziness, but negotiation. You are bargaining with the day, hoping it will soften if you delay meeting it. These are not random habits. They are strategic evasions, clever in the short run, ruinous in the long run. Fear is an excellent foreman. It keeps you busy enough to avoid the risk of meaning. Name the engine with compassion and firmness. You are not lazy. You are loyal to an old treaty with pain. Once, being slow to reply meant someone punished you with distance. Once, a quiet morning meant danger in the house. Once, effort without perfection earned ridicule. Your body remembers and writes the schedule to prevent that trial from returning. Thank the strategy, then retire it. The regime has changed. You are no longer the vassal, you are the prince. Now, Reputation is written by refusals. The public cannot see your intentions, they see your borders. Time-blocked no's are how a ruler speaks without raising his voice. Deep work from 9 to 11 is a standing treaty with your future self. Everything else is a foreign request. Training at 17 is not fitness. It is a garrison drill that tells the city you intend to last. Sleep at 22:30 is a curfew that keeps the streets clear for dawn's patrols. When these blocks repeat, your calendar becomes a visible border, a map of a state that values its own resources. Authority accumulates, not through force, but through predictability. Make it exacting. Guard your best 2 hours like a fortress. Put them on paper. Treat meetings as trade agreements. Scope, duration, outcome. Cut unscheduled calls at the border. If a demand lands inside your deep work window, it receives a visa stamped for later. Your phone lives in another room during your sacred hours. Your browser boots to a blank page, not a social feed. You are not punishing anyone. You are declaring jurisdiction. Over time, invitations adjust to your map. Clients learn your response windows. Friends learn when you are present. Your own mind learns the road to the throne room. Prestige is simply the memory of consistent protection applied to limited resources. Keep score where it matters. Did you keep the block? The block will keep you. 2 protected hours per day will outgovern 12 available hours scattered like coins in a fountain. A focused day reads like law. A reactive day reads like rumor. Now, trade anesthesia for ritual. Anesthesia is cheap relief that steals tomorrow. Sugar spikes, endless scroll, gossip loops, tab swapping until your focus fractures. Each is a soft sedative that converts ambition into background noise. Replace them with cues that recruit your body to your side. Cold water as a wake. Signal. Sunlight to the eyes within an hour of waking. The first 10 minutes in silence, no phone, no speech, just breathing while your mind's militia forms ranks. A single page of planning by hand. Top 3 outcomes, the next action for each, and the time they will occur. A bell chime or timer to begin work like a ritual drum. Your rituals are a drill, quick, repeatable, unfancy, designed to move you, not impress you. Create friction against numbness. Hide the apps behind a passcode you only use at noon. Keep sweets out of the house on weekdays. Make fruit the default. When gossip hunts you, redirect to problems with owners and deadlines. Make your desk a monastery of tools, notebook, pen, water, timer. Nothing that begs for your attention without offering return. Rituals should be boring and binding. The less they depend on mood, the more they build mood. Enroll the body in loyalty. Lift something heavy to remind your psychology it commands a capable animal. Walk while dictating notes. Let motion metabolize thought. Keep bed for sleep and love only, so your brain salutes when it sees the sheets. Shut down with a repeatable ceremony. Lights off, next day's outfit ready. 3 lines of gratitude written like receipts. Rituals are small flags planted daily. Soon the territory belongs to you. Modern examples prove the point. The freelancer who answered every ping moved their deepest work to a declared block, notified clients of office hours, and watched respect rise with turnaround times. The student who stayed up scrolling traded the midnight bleed for a hard 22:30 lights out and captured mornings that felt like an advantage. The manager who gossiped to vent created a team parking lot for off-topic ideas and a weekly one-on-one cadence. Drama dropped, delivery rose. None of them became harsher. They became legible. Expect protest from within. The old council will whisper that you are becoming rigid, that spontaneity is life. Spontaneity is a luxury of stable nations. Order first, then flare. Your calendar is not a cage, it is a fortress with gardens. Once the walls stand, you can open the gates for play and still end the day with your flag on the tower. Remember the doctrine: what you refuse determines what you can give. Decline the hours that devour you, and your best work appears. Decline the sugar that steals your spine, and your clarity returns. Decline the ping that kidnaps your focus, and your reputation grows teeth. The world begins to treat you like you treat your time. Your wounds once wrote the schedule. Thank them for getting you here. Then take the pen, publish the hours, install the rituals, keep the refusals calm and exact. Do this 9 days in a row, then 90. The city will change under your feet. And when someone asks how you became dependable, point to the wall and the garden and say, I learned to govern. Strong borders, quiet mind. The city of your day collapses when the guard does not report for duty. You do not lack ambition, you lack a routine that defends it. Without a schedule, you live in emergency mode, sprinting between fires, promising you will rebuild the wall tomorrow and sleeping in your armor tonight. Projects drift, promises wobble. You perform personality instead of power, charming on calls, exhausted in silence, admired for your hustle while results arrive late and thin. This is not weakness, it is ungoverned time. Consider the market of your minutes. When a state prints time without restraint, everything becomes more expensive. Stress, mistakes, apologies, repair. You say yes to 5 small requests before noon, and then pay a premium to push your own work after midnight. The interest rate on fatigue is brutal. One sloppy email breeds 3 clarifications. One missed micro-deadline becomes a weekend of penance. Your body pays in headaches, clenched jaws, tight shoulders, and the low fever of constant hurry. Inflated minutes devalue focus. The cheaper your attention becomes, the costlier every task grows. Picture your day as a coin press. Each dawn mints a fixed roll of currency. In a healthy principality, the treasury funds first things first: deep work, health, planning, rest. In a failing one, street vendors with bright signs seize the mint. Notifications become counterfeiters. The press runs hot, stamping coins with everyone's face but yours. By evening, you hold tokens that buy nothing, half answers, half promises, half steps. You apologize with the tired sentence, crazy day, and the market rightly discounts your next promise because you discounted it first. Then the loop builds momentum. Appease, cram, burnout, retreat. Monday, you appease, agree to quick favors, accept last-minute meetings, say no problem when there is a problem. Tuesday, you cram, compress 5 hours of thinking into 40 minutes, eat over the sink, draft while walking between rooms, stitch a plan from scraps of attention. Wednesday, you burn out, the brain fog arrives, your tone turns brittle, you reread the same paragraph 4 times, and the inbox glares like a hostile witness. Thursday, you retreat silent, guilty, scrolling as if the feed could roll back time. Friday, you promise a heroic weekend. Sunday night, you put on the armor again. Your inconsistency trains observers to disrespect your hours. They do not hate you, they learn the rules you model. If you always fit them in, you are always fit in able. If your deadlines move when pushed, pushing becomes policy. The gambler's instinct awakens. Maybe you can be squeezed for just 5 minutes, which are never 5 and never just. You become the softest surface in the room, where other people's urgency lands because yours is not protected by law. Interruptions win the throne. The loudest ping becomes your ruler. There is no gate, so there is no crown, only the next vibration dictating the state's priorities. You meant to write strategy. Instead, you answered 14 micro-sirens and 2 quick sinks. You planned to shape the product. Instead, you cleaned up confusions born from last night's cramming. Policyless mornings sell the palace to whoever shouts first. By sunset, you are a courier of your own life, running messages between other people's fires, bowing to alarms that should never outrank your charter. This is a governance failure, not a character flaw. Machiavelli would advise you to move from charisma to calendar, from mood to method. Kindness without structure collapses into resentment. Generosity without slots becomes theft by accident. You do not need harsher feelings, you need harder boundaries. Begin with a constitution: guard, gate, ground. Guard is your routine's first hour, protected, ritualized, the trained soldier at the door. Wake into water, light, and movement. Open the ledger and write the 3 outcomes that, if delivered, make today a victory. Do not touch the city until the guard has walked the wall. Gate is your communication window, 2 or 3 fixed blocks when you respond to the world. Outside those windows, the city is closed. Emergencies exist, but they are rare and visible. Ground is the daily closing 15 minutes to settle accounts, schedule tomorrow's first strike, and lock the gates. Price: interruptions. If a ping cuts a deep work block, the task that caused it moves with a visible cost, delivered 1 day later, or done at a reduced scope agreed in advance. Publish this rule to your team and friends. When you pull the fire alarm, the building stops to help, and the next party pays in time, not resentment. The first week will feel rigid. Good. Rigid is the bridge between chaos and flow. Shrink the mint. Decide a daily deficit. You will not spend beyond perhaps 90 minutes of flexible currency for true surprises. When it is gone, it is gone. Every other request goes to a queue with dates you control. The queue is not cruelty. It is a promise that tomorrow will still have shape. Without a queue, you steal from tomorrow to please a shout today. Make the body a stakeholder. Routine is not only calendar, it is chemistry. Protect sleep like a supply line. Eat real food at regular times. Walk after lunch to reset the mind. Block a daily silence, 10 minutes of breathing, eyes closed, spine long where you reauthor the day and return the crown to your head. Your nervous system is the general. If the general is starved and sleepless, the troops scatter when horns sound. Modern examples are plain. The manager who sets 2 email windows sees fewer late-night spirals and tighter decisions at noon. The engineer who guards 2 deep blocks ships cleaner work and spends less time in triage. The creator who batches filming on one day and editing on another posts more consistently with less panic. The parent who refuses reactive evenings gains weekends that feel like places again. Routine is not prison. It is the wall that keeps the barbarians from burning the granaries. Behind the wall, harvests grow and plans survive bad weather. Expect protest. People accustomed to your endless availability will test the new border with jokes, guilt, or sudden emergencies. Do not explain at length. Point to the sign. I'm at the gate at 2. This road is closed until 11. Put it in the queue. Quiet repetition turns stone. After a month, the loudest pings soften. After 2, they align. Some will leave. Let them. Every departure of noise is an arrival of strength. Your image will knit. You will speak less and decide more. Projects will land on time with fewer heroics. You will feel less interesting to the chaos drunk and more magnetic to the disciplined. The brand will shift from fragmentation to force, not the force of volume, but of shape, the outline of a person who governs their day and therefore their life. A throne is not a piece of furniture. It is a routine that cannot be bullied. Schedule is sovereignty. You mistook constant access for affection. The gate was open, so the crowd called itself family. Routine is hospitality for your best self. Think like a governor of scarce resources. The city runs on schedule, or it starves on whim. Your mornings are the treasury. Your focus is the mint. Your energy is coin. A routine does not kill romance. It builds the house where warmth, creativity, And intimacy can live without burglary. Coffee, training, deep work, then social windows, doors that open and close on time. When someone pounds the gate at dawn with a quick question, policy answers for you. Not now, the shop isn't open yet. You were taught to worship spontaneity, as if love arrives only in chaos. But even music keeps time. People who demand access at any hour are not defending love, they are defending loopholes. Under structure, affection deepens because it is not sprinting from fire to fire. Under routine, your creativity stops bleeding into the group chat. You finish what you start. You rest like a person who intends to rule tomorrow. That is hospitality. A steady hearth, not a bonfire that burns the furniture. Order before generosity. Sequence is the difference between a principality and a riot. Set rules, enforce costs, then offer access. Rules are simple sentences. I take calls after noon. I do not negotiate by text. I leave events at 11. Enforce small, certain costs. Late arrivals meet you at the next window. Last-minute scope ships next cycle. Disrespect ends the meeting and resumes only after repair. This is not revenge, it is policy. When the rules hold, your access becomes a gift, not a reflex. When you give, it lands. Your old pattern gave gifts first, then tried to invent rules to clean the wreckage. That is how states fall. You financed chaos with kindness and called the debt being nice. Reverse it. Build the gate, then pass the wine. A date who honors your work block receives your undivided evening. A client who follows the take form gets unusual speed. A friend who marks urgent only when it truly is earns a midnight answer. Scarcity is not cruelty, it is the physics that makes value visible. Boundaries are not apologies, they are architecture. Saying "not now" is how you protect the room where care can breathe. The child in you fears that limits mean rejection. The statesman in you knows limits mean reliability. You don't plead your boundary to a jury. You state it to protect the treaty. People who can meet you will adapt. People who were bargaining with your fear will call you rigid. Smile. Bridges are rigid and therefore merciful. They carry weight safely. Your calendar is your treaty. Treat agreements as contracts, not vibes. A treaty protects borders. A calendar protects state assets, training, recovery, sleep, strategy. Block them as if auditors will ask, because your future will. If it isn't on the calendar, it's civilian chatter. If it is on the calendar, it's law. Keep law with yourself first, or no one else will. Do not disturb is a standing army. Focus mode is a customs gate. Every accept is a tax. Every decline is a subsidy for the mission that builds your life. Modern scenes, clear terms, work. A manager drops new scope at 5:30 just for tonight. You answer like a minister, not a fan. I'll deliver the defined draft by 6 and schedule additions for tomorrow's sprint. Confirm priority. Dating. They vanish for 2 days and return with a reel. You reply. We continue after a call tonight and a plan for the week. If yes, Thursday at 7. Friendship. The crisis-only caller pings at 1 a.m. You say, happy to talk at noon. Emergencies call, not text. You don't explain, you execute. Structure does not cool your warmth, it concentrates it. You will notice this on Sundays when the phone sleeps. Breakfast tastes like bread, not like guilt. Walks feel like walks, not like open office hours. Intimacy grows because it does not compete with notifications. Your partner learns your presence has flavor, not rushed, not resentful, not half there. Teams learn to ask better. Clients learn to prepare. The lazy fall away, the serious step forward. Keep the instruments sharp. Each week, audit the treaty. Sleep hours kept, training complete. Deep work honored, recovery observed. Set a modest fail-safe. Miss 2 mornings, and the third is non-negotiable. Bundle chatter into one communications block. Move meetings to fixed days. Publish office hours to the people who need them. Speak in simple law. Booked. After 12. Send the doc. Schedule first. The more legible you are, the less force you need. Do not confuse noise with opportunity. Spontaneity is healthy when it passes inspection. Does it serve the mission or only the moment? If it serves, you flex the plan and pay cash from a surplus hour. If it does not, you smile and say, "Next window." This is not cold, it is civilized. You are not a sidewalk. You are a road with lanes. The things you protected, spontaneity, constant access. The nice reply were not love, they were loopholes. Love, respect, and results thrive inside a frame. Order gives your gifts their weight. Routine gives your warmth its home. The calendar keeps the kingdom from selling itself for applause. I give with precision, and I guard the frame. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Niccolo Machiavelli power begins with a day you can actually run. You build a routine that survives bad moods, noisy people, and unexpected weather. Ruthless in structure, humane in use. Gates, intervals, penalties, and signals, simple parts that compound quietly. You are not managing feelings, you are managing flow. Order first, kindness second. When the plan is clear, your better nature can breathe. The 4 gates form your daily skeleton. The dawn gate is non-negotiable. Wake at a fixed hour, face morning light within minutes. Drink water and breathe like a commander, settling his troops. 5 slow inhales, 5 steady exhales, twice through. No scrolling, no small talk. 10 minutes of reading from one reliable book. Strategy, history, finance. So your first thoughts belong to you, not to an algorithm. You prime the nervous system and feed it clean fuel. The bell has opened the city. The work gate is where wealth is minted. Run deep block 1 for 90 minutes, deep block 2 for 60, then a shallow block for admin. Calendar invites, sit outside these walls, unless they are mission critical. Phone to airplane mode, browser locked to a single tab. Your task list holds 3 wins and nothing else. People learn that mornings are off limits for idle requests. Meetings land later, stacked and short. In this gate, you decide what the world will talk about tomorrow. The body gate keeps the engine durable. Training is scheduled like revenue. Missed training is missed income, strength or conditioning, but all movement. Protein at each meal, hydration checked at midday, a short walk after lunch to flatten the crash. You are not chasing abs, you are paying the maintenance bill that power requires. A leader with stamina outlasts arguments. Energy becomes political capital. The night gate closes the city with ceremony. End work at a visible line, sunset or set time, and shut down the tech. Write a 2-minute ledger. What shipped, what stalled, what starts tomorrow. Dim the lights, guard the last hour as a sanctuary. A small hygiene ritual, a few pages of low arousal reading, and the phone sleeps in exile. The night gate protects the next dawn gate. Tomorrow's command is purchased tonight. Intervals and windows compress your life into predictable lanes. Set 2 response windows, late morning and late afternoon. Outside those windows, you are hard to reach by design. Meetings stack into a single corridor, 90 minutes, back to back, with agendas pre-sent and outcomes recorded. Creative blocks are walled gardens, no notifications, door closed, assistant briefed, team aligned. Social hours are capped. 2 weeknights for dinners or calls, 1 weekend slot for leisure people actually earn. Penalties and audits make the machine self-correcting. Costs are mild, certain, and immediate. Miss the dawn gate? Reduce evening screen time and push bedtime 30 minutes earlier. Skip training. Add 10 minutes of conditioning tomorrow and remove one entertainment slot. Break the work gate with random scrolling. Log it, and your next deep block begins with 5 minutes of breath work before you touch a keyboard. The point is not pain, the point is price. Your nervous system learns what your mouth claims. Once a week, run an audit scored by completion rate, not mood. List the 4 gates across the top and the key items below each. Check boxes, calculate the rate, and write one line of narrative. 71%. Dawn, weak due to late night. Reinforce night gate. No self-insults, no myth-making. Just data and the next adjustment. If rates fall below 60% for 2 weeks, simplify. Fewer tasks, shorter sessions, stricter windows. Complexity is a luxury for the disciplined. Novices need frictionless rules. Signal craft turns your order into a language others can read at a glance. Dress consistently for your role. Clean lines, neutral palette, one memorable detail. Punctual arrivals broadcast respect and control. Arrive 5 minutes early and leave on time. Messages are short, structured, and cool. One request, one deadline, one line of context. Online, you post with cadence weekly or bi-weekly rather than a flood. People begin to predict your movement. They adjust. You stop reminding them who you are because your cadence says it first. The most persuasive signal is the way you treat your calendar. Decline misaligned invites with a calm sentence. Protect creative blocks for months, and even rivals respect the fence. Your steadiness teaches people how to approach you. It also teaches you how to approach yourself, not as a chaotic hobby, but as a principality you govern. Mercy with a spine keeps the routine humane without letting it decay. First breach gets a repair ritual and a reset. Blow the dawn gate, execute the night gate flawlessly, and stage tomorrow's clothes, bottle, and book by the door. A teammate misses a deliverable once, the repair is a clear plan, a smaller next promise, and a shared checkpoint. Repeat breaches escalate or remove. The second miss in a month loses priority on the next project. A third closes the loop and parts ways. Compassion that ignores structure becomes corruption. Compassion that honors structure becomes trust. Because this routine is built for bad days, not perfect ones, it stays alive under pressure. Travel reduces the 4 gates to essence. Morning light, one deep block, a body pulse, a hard shutdown. Sickness replaces training with gentle walks and protein. The work gate runs in miniature. Family emergency collapses the system to 2 gates, dawn and night, with 1 sentence broadcast. Unavailable until Wednesday, priorities will be reordered on return. You lower the volume, not the certainty. Run this for 90 days and watch what compounds. The world grows quieter because people know when to reach you. Outputs get sharper because your best hours are never auctioned to chaos. Mood swings matter less because the gates carry you when willpower is thin. Opportunities arrive that match your tempo, not your panic. Relationships stabilize because others can predict both your warmth and your limits. This is the Machiavellian routine: ruthless, humane, and boring on purpose. Boring is a crown. You are not chasing novelty. You are building trust with your future self. Each gate is a vow. Each interval is a moat. Each penalty is a law. Each signal is a banner others rally to or avoid. You stop arguing with your day and begin to command it. And because order holds, your kindness can finally afford to be generous. Strong gates, quiet hours, steady power. You do not win the day by accident, you win it by design, then defend it without noise. Calm is the dividend. Picture a morning that does not ambush you. Your phone sleeps in another room while you make the first decision of the day with a clear head. You write the 3 outcomes that matter, not 12 wishes that bleed you. You move through a clean handoff, from planning to work, from work to food, from food to a short walk that resets your attention. The borders are firm, so the inside feels wide. Your meetings are shorter because they are prepared. People arrive with decisions framed and data visible. You open, you decide, you assign, you close. No performance, no applause, debt. At home, lunch is unhurried. You chew like someone who is not at war with time. You return to your desk with a body that has not been running from invisible fires. Afternoon lands with a second wind because the morning was not burned on trivia. You build in blocks that finish, not threads that fray. You capture handoffs in writing so tasks leave your mind and live where others can act. The hallway chatter shrinks. The calendar breathes. By evening, your hands are empty of unfinished promises. You cook, you listen, you laugh. Sleep is a tool that heals, not a collapse that hides you. Small disciplines, great freedoms. You lock tiny, certain rituals into place because they carry weight out of proportion to their size. A 2-window rule for messages. Midday and late afternoon returns whole hours, no longer spent scratching the itch of constant checking. A start cold rule, first task before first feed, protects the throne of your attention from cheap spectacle. A 10-minute walk after the last call breaks the spell of work, so you can be human again. These are light touches with heavy consequences. They keep chaos outside your walls. You apply the same logic to money and to love. A boring weekly budget review prevents the expensive theater of panic. An automatic draft to savings every Friday morning buys you choices your future self will bless. In relationships, you replace anxious improvisation with predictable warmth. A standing Thursday dinner, a Sunday check-in that asks and answers the right questions. Consistency creates safety. Safety creates depth. You do not chase connection by sprinting. You build it by showing up on beat. Discipline is not cruelty when it is stable and small. It is mercy. The mercy of decisions made once and applied many times. The mercy of refusing to let random strangers rent your mind. The mercy of knowing that your best work will arrive if you guard the conditions that give it oxygen. You do not need to be heroic. You need to be certain. Now, the standing oath. One gate you lock today. Choose it and close it. No screens before the first completed outcome. Or, no meetings without an agenda by 5 p.m. the day prior. Or, no DMs during deep work blocks. The gate is simple enough to explain in one sentence and strong enough to hold when you are tired. One penalty you enforce this week, gentle, automatic, and public enough that it teaches without poison. If a meeting lacks an agenda, it moves to email by default. If you break your own message windows, tomorrow's windows shorten by 15 minutes as a tax on your impulse. If a client cancels late, the next slot is 2 weeks out by policy. No speeches, no heat, just certainty that protects the commons of your time and your team's sanity. One ritual you protect for 90 days. It can be as small as a 5-minute evening reset. Desk cleared, tomorrow's top 3 written, water on the nightstand. Or a non-negotiable movement block. 20 minutes of sweat before sunrise. Or a nightly lights out that treats sleep as strategic infrastructure. 90 days is long enough for the routine to become identity, and identity carries you when motivation is scarce. You do not shrink your life with a ruthless routine. You make room for it. When the day holds, your voice quiets. When your voice quiets, you hear what matters. Work compounds because it is not interrupted to death. Love deepens because it can trust your rhythm. Peace arrives not as a miracle, but as the interest on order paid daily. Guard the frame, keep the beat, Let the quiet multiply.